Hello and welcome to the halfway point of the Backrooms game lab. In this series, I've been showing you how to create a Backrooms game from scratch using Unity. This is a complete beginner series made for people that don't even have Unity installed yet. But yeah, let's get into part 6. Okay, so the first thing we want to do in this video is go to the Google Drive, and we should see a new folder in here called Part 6, Backrooms Game Lab. If we come in here, you'll see that we have something in here called Prefabs, a Scripts tab, and also this audio called Open Door. So if we go into Prefabs, you'll see we have some things in here that you can check out if you want to. But yeah, let's go ahead and download just the entire Part 6 Backrooms Game Lab folder. Then once it's downloaded, something in here in your downloads window should open, and it looks like Part 6, Backrooms Game Lab, and a whole bunch of numbers. Let's go ahead and extract this file. And now we have Part 6, Backrooms Game Lab, and if you come inside, you'll see everything that you downloaded is inside of here. So now let's go back to Unity, and we should be able to import our files into our game. So the first thing we want to do though is I want to come into this audio here, right click, and then press Import New Asset. And then I want to come to download, and I want to go ahead and import Open Door. So I want to drag this specifically into our audio window without all of the other folders that we just downloaded. Now if I come back out to my assets window, I can drag all the new folders into the window. So let's go ahead and drag prefabs and the scripts. And then let's press cancel here. And we will see that there's an error here that says problem detected while importing the prefab file. And if we click it, there's a whole bunch of problems here. Now we can just go ahead and clear that because it's not actually a problem right now, but it might become a problem in the next video. So now that we have our prefabs and our scripts in here, we're gonna go ahead and create something that will allow us to have a dot in the center of our screen. This is gonna basically be a crosshair that helps the player see when they're actually hovering over the door. So without a crosshair, you can't really see where your mouse is, and because the mouse is invisible, you need help by adding a dot to the center of the screen. So what I'm going to do is go up to the hierarchy window and press the plus icon. Now I'm going to come to UI, go to canvas, and then a new canvas is going to be created. What I want to do is click the scene tab, come in here, and then press 2, and I'm going to press F. So now we can see our entire canvas. But before we get started, something really important is I want to come to the inspector tab in the canvas, go down to canvas scaler, and press scale the screen size. Now my screen size is going to be 1920 by 1080. And now if we come into our game tab, we want to make sure that this is not on free aspect, but instead it's on 16:9 aspect. So make sure that this is on 16:9 aspect, and our canvas scaler looks something like this. Now we come back to our scene window. We want to go ahead and right click on this canvas and then press UI and create a new raw image. Now we have a square in the center of our screen. What we want to do is go ahead and make this square really small. And if we go to our game tab, you'll see that we actually have a square in the center of our screen right here. So just to make this actually seeable, I'm going to come over here, add a new game tab, and then just drag this over here, and then make this a little bit bigger, rename this to 16:9, there we go. So you don't have to do that, but I just want to do that so you could actually see the box expanding and retracting in the video. So I'm going to make this box as small as possible. There you go, and now you can still see it in the game. What I want to do though is I want to change this color and make it a little bit less colorful on the alpha. So a little bit more transparent, that is. And there we go. Now we have a box in the center of our screen, and if we come to the game tab, you'll see we have a box here. The next thing I want to do is rename this to normal crosshair. And then if I go ahead and click it and duplicate it, I want to rename this one to hover crosshair. Now if we go ahead and right click the hover crosshair, I want to go ahead and add a text to this. So you might have to import some resources. It might say something like import text mesh pro things. Just go ahead and import those resources if it does pop up. But for me, I've already done that. And I want to go ahead and get really close to here, and I want to scale this up. So I still have my scale selected. I want to scale it up, and then I just want to change this text to E. Now I might have to rotate this around 180 degrees, just like this, because it is backwards. And there you go. You can see that as we change things on here, it actually is effective on our screen here. So whatever we do to this is effective on our screen. And by the way, this hover crosshair is going to show whenever we look at our door. So in case it might be a little bit confusing right now, it will start to make sense later on. So we're basically just creating a hover crosshair that's going to appear right when we look at our door. So what I want to do is go ahead and drag this maybe right here next to the crosshair. So it's kind of, you can see it's kind of at an angle right here. And I also want to make this hover crosshair maybe a little bit more blue. There you go. Yeah, something like that. So now it obviously shows, or now it's more obvious, and it shows that, hey, you can click this door. Also, I think I might want to click the text here and change the transparency of it to make it a little bit more transparent. And now it's not so bold and white. So let's go back to our scene window, and let's go ahead and turn off the hover crosshair. Now we're done with this canvas, and to get off of this 2D mode, we're just going to go ahead and come up here and just press 2D. Now we can go back to, let's just click one of these walls here and press F. And there we go. Okay, so let's come back to our game, and I'm going to go ahead and import our door. So let's just go ahead and close this game tab first. And I want to come to prefabs, and you can see we have a folder in here called doors. What I want to do is double click this, go into models, and I want to go ahead and drag in the door frame. So now as you can see, we have this type of frame here. Now for me, I want this door to be this way, so like aligned with the wall. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate my door like this. Yeah, I think that should be fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and move it, make it right next to the door, right next to this wall here. There we go. And there we go, I think. Yeah, I think this looks all right. Right? Yeah, I think this is nice. We're going to add another wall to this side and add something to the top later on, but I just want to get this frame in place. So now let's go ahead and drag in our door. So we do it just by clicking door and then dragging it over here. So if we put this right next to this area right here, we can now rotate it to be at the same rotation as of the frame. And then we just want to kind of drag this a little bit to get it to actually match with the frame. Maybe bring it back a little bit. There we go. So now in our hierarchy, you'll see we have something here called door and something here called door frame. Let's just go ahead and first of all, right click both of these by pressing shift and then pressing door. Right click, come to prefab, and we want to press unpack completely. That is a new change to Unity where they make you have to unpack the prefabs. So whenever you get a prefab really and it's blue like this, you can honestly just right click it, come to prefab and press unpack completely. But anyway, we just want to go to door and drag it into door frame, just like that. Now I'm going to rename this to door 1. So now that we're done with that, you'll see that we have a door frame, a door. They don't have textures. The last thing we want to do with these doors right now is come to doors in the project window, go to textures, and then just drag door to the door. And then we want to go ahead and drag frame or door frame to the frame. And now you'll see that everything has textures and it's looking pretty nice. The only problem right now is if you try to play your game, you can just walk right through this door. And to fix it so it's actually a solid object and you can't just walk right through it, we're just going to go click the door here, go to add component in the inspector, type in mesh collider, and click this one. Now we want to turn on convex, and we'll see that we now there's like a green type of line over here. That basically just means that it actually has a collider and you can't walk through it. So now let's go ahead and add these walls over to make it more complete. I'm just going to click this one that's right next to it, duplicate it, drag it over here, just like this. Then I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate this part that's on the top here, drag it to the top, just like this, and then bring it over here. Now you'll see our texture is kind of glitching over here. To fix that, it's really simple. We just go to the scale and then drag it ever so slightly smaller. And we're going to do the same thing for this one. So I'm going to duplicate this one, bring it over, come to the scale, and make it ever so slightly smaller, just like that. So now there's a little bit of a line going on, but for the most part, you can't really tell. The last thing we have to do here is really just animate this door so that it can be opened. So to do that, let's just go out to the Assets window tab, and let's go to Animations. Now if we click the door, let's go to the Animation tab, and then press Create. Now let's rename this to Open Door, and then press Save. And now we're animating our door. So similar to last time when we made the flickering light, we just want to go ahead and click this red circle, and now we're animating. And you do want to make sure that right under Scene, when you click this thing here that says either center or pivot, make sure it's on pivot mode and not center mode. That makes it so that it's at the corner and we can actually open it like this. Whereas if it was in the center, we would be opening it like this, and that's not really what we want for a door. So let's go to like 40 or 50 right here. And we want to make sure mine is on pivot. We want to go ahead and just make this to an open state. And I think that's a pretty good rotation for my door to be opened. Yeah, I think it looks pretty fine. And if we go to, and we play this animation, just by pressing play right here, you'll see that our door opens. And that's all the animation we have to do in this video. So let's stop animating, come over here, and remove this animator just by right clicking it and pressing remove component. And then we just want to make sure this is assigned by pressing add component, typing animation, and then dragging open door to the animation. And we also just want to press animations here and then just drag this over here. But yeah, that's pretty much the bulk of this video. So that's all the animation we have to do for this video. Now all we want to do is go ahead and come over to the scripts window, and you'll see we have two scripts here. All we want to do is go ahead and drag player casting to first person character. And now we have a script in here in the first person character called player casting. And basically what this does is shows how far we are from an object. So let's just go ahead and play our game right now. And I want to show you what this script oh, well, Unity just crashed. When your game crashes, it's important that you have saved your game. I don't think I saved mine, but that's why it's really important for you to save your game constantly by just pressing Command or Control S, and then you can just always save your game. But for some reason my game crashed, so I'll be back. Oh yeah, and there is something that we want to do to our animation of the door that I almost forgot. We want to go ahead and come over to animation and turn off play automatically. So that's going to stop it from just opening the door when we play our game, which is not what we want. We don't want it to automatically play the animation. We want the player to walk up to the door, press E, and when the player presses E, that's when the door should open. So yeah, that's what we're going to get into right now. And if we play our game, basically what this script is going to do is it's going to show how far we are from an object. So if we test our game right now, come over here, you can see it shows how far we are from an object. So I come close to it and it goes to 0, I come far from it and it goes to 5. So if I look at an object that's far away, you'll see it goes to 12 because of how far away it is. And see that object all the way over there is 22 meters away. So yeah, this basically just shows how far objects are away from us, and it's really helpful because when our player comes over here to this door, we don't want our player to open the door from really far away over here. We want our player to have to walk really close to it. Say like right now it's at 3. I think that's about how far we want our player to be away from it. So yeah, let's get out of play mode right now, and let's go ahead and do one more thing to this door. We want to go ahead and create a trigger for our player so that when the player looks at the trigger, they can actually interact with the door. So let's go ahead and right click on door, create a new 3D object, And then let's go ahead over here and rename this to door trigger. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the rect tool to make this bigger this way. And then let's come over here and make this a little bit smaller this way. A little bit bigger so it, okay, there we go, perfect. I might do the same on the back right here, just like that. Now if I turn back on my lighting, you'll see that we have this thing right here. Obviously we don't want this to show though. So let's go to our mesh render, turn it off. So now let's go ahead and drag our door manager over to the door trigger. Now I will quickly explain what this script does, but for the sake of time, I'm not actually going to be showing you guys how to script in this tutorial series. But yeah, let's just go ahead and double click door manager. And for me, it opens this thing called Visual Studio. However, for you, it might open something else. It might open some random text editor, but that's all right, pretty much. So let's come over here and you'll see we have these things here. We have public game object door, cursor hover, animation door, and audio source open door sound. Basically what this is this is going to be an audio that plays whenever we open our door. This is going to be the animation that plays whenever we open our door. And this is going to show, this is going to be the hover cursor that we made at the beginning of this video that is going to show when you open the door or look at the door, that is. So if we come to on mouse over, this is a function that will be activated whenever the player looks close to the door. So whenever the player looks close to the door, and I might as well just change this. Whenever the player looks at the door, that is when on mouse hover is going to take into action. So I did leave some comments here, and if you want to go over them, you can. It pretty much explains what this script does. But yeah, let's just go ahead and come back over to Unity, and we see in our inspector window, we see a few things here. We have cursor hover, door, which is an animation, and we have the open door sound. So let's go ahead and first of all drag our door animation over to door animation right here. Let's go ahead and come down and drag inside of the canvas. Let's drag the hover crosshair over to cursor hover. And there's one last thing that we have to do in this video, which is creating a new empty object here. Let's drag it out. And let's call this audio. Now if we come inside here, create another empty object, rename this to FX, and come inside of here, create another empty object, and call this door open. So now if we come over here, come to audio, and drag in open door, you'll see that we have a new sound in here called door open. So let's go ahead and turn play on awake off, so that it doesn't automatically play when you start your game. We want to make sure that we turn play on awake off. And then we want to come back to door trigger and drag door open to the door open sound. So there we go. Now we pretty much have everything in this video complete. But we want to make sure we want to go ahead and test this by coming to the game, make sure this is on 16:9, and let's test our game here. So when this loads, let's go ahead and click into our game and we're good. Come over to our door, and when we look at our door, you'll see that something here comes on our screen. It says press E. Let's press E and nothing happens, which is a problem that we can solve right now. So the reason why nothing happened is because we forgot to do something to our animation animator right here. So if we come to door manager and click this, it shows us our animation here. And if we go ahead and click this animation right here, it takes us to open door. So let's go to our assets window. Come to animations, go to open door, and we want to go over to these three dots right here and go down to something called debug. Click it, and then come down here and press legacy. Now we just want to come to wrap mode and turn it on to once. So let's go back up to these three dots, turn it back to normal mode, and if we go ahead and play our game, everything should be working. So let's click into our game here, come over here, and when we press E, as you can see, it opens, it plays the sound, and everything is fine. So yeah, that is pretty much all we're going to be doing. Oh, there is one more thing that I want to do in this tutorial. In the last video, I did mention something about the way our player was walking, which is kind of weird. And I don't like how head bobby it is. I don't really like how the player walks. So let's go ahead and click FPS controller. I want to change walk speed down to 3, run speed down to 5. Now I want to come over to jump speed, and I want to change this down to 5. I also want to come to height and change this down to 1.8. Now I want to just go down to these two sounds right here. And for you it says jump and land, but those are the normal sounds that Unity gave us, and they don't really sound good. So to fix that and actually give it our sounds that we made in the other video where we actually brought in sounds for the footsteps, let's go to our assets tab, go to audio, go to footsteps, and let's click back into FPS controller, go down. There we go, now we're back here. And we just want to go ahead and drag maybe just footstep 1 here and maybe footstep 2 over here. So now as you can see, our better sounds are in, and it doesn't really play those weird Unity sounds that sound like you're walking on like a concrete floor. So now if we go back to our game, you'll see that everything's a lot more smooth. And then yeah, everything sounds a lot better. We can jump, but we don't like jump to the ceiling. So I think that this feels a lot better. And then when we run, we don't run at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and we don't walk at 1,000,000 miles per hour. You also see that our door is a good height relative to our body, which really makes our game a lot better. So if we go and open this door now, you'll see things are a lot better. So yeah, this is pretty much all for this video. In the next video, I'm going to be showing you how to add a key to the door. So maybe we're going to add like another door completely, and that door is going to require a key. But yeah, until then, feel free to continue expanding your map. Really make this place look good. You don't have to copy me. I don't really have that good of a map right now because I'm just a tutorial guy. But I want your game to actually look as good as you want yours to make it. So yeah, if you have any problems, tell me in the Discord server. I will help you out. But yeah, this has been part 6 of the Backrooms Game Lab. I've been Developer Dick, and we will see you next one.